This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're here today with Madeleine Engelhardt, Product Manager, S Insight, StormGeo, to discuss how ship fleet decision support software tools can help ship owners maximize the life of older vessels while also hoping to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. I know that most of the people watching this know the StormGeo brand very well, but just to start, can you give us a brief overview of the company and, more importantly, specifically the software solutions that you personally manage?
Sure, I can. The majority of your users may link StormGeo with shipping, where we are well known for providing ship routing services, but also fleet performance management and reporting, as well as planning navigation. But StormGeo is also represented in the areas of renewables and energy markets, oil and gas, media and cross industry, which focuses on the healthcare and safeguarding of people and assets. Regarding the application I am responsible, which is called S Insight, you could consider like a fleet decision support monitor for ship owners, but also operators, where we integrate different data sources within the applications of our S suite. So this could be, for example, intended tracks, manual event data reporting, sensor data, vessel schedules, bunker data, which is at the end superimposed with mid-ocean data, and special areas such as war risk areas or ECA zones or areas with recent pirate attacks, as well as ENC overlay. So basically, S Insight provides tools for assessing commercial, technical and operational performance to real fuel potential saving, and of course to steer improvement.
As you know better than I, ship owners today are facing ever stricter emission regulations, and many are contemplating new tonnage or expensive main driver refits. How does fleet decision support software and weather routing fit into that conversation?
You're totally right. I mean, it's stricter emissions drive improvements. Just think of the implementation of the Energy Efficiency Design Index, the EOI, or the ship's energy efficiency management plan and other initiatives. There has been a reduction in speed, an increase in economy of scale, and also, more efficient ship designs, which had a major impact on reduction of carbon emissions. I'm just saying this in relation to the IMO targets for 2030 and 2050, because the reference year is always 2008, which is basically slightly before the crisis started, right? How does S Insight comes into play? Yeah, if you have an older vessel, you consider design retrofits. Before you do a design retrofit, you have to determine a new operational profile where you want the vessel to operate in. And you have to get together with a charterer, especially as a ship owner, because the charterer deploys the vessel. So you have to get together with the charterer to determine the new operational profile, because this is what is important to improve the vessel efficiency. Therefore, you need data, right? And after the retrofit, you of course want to assess the effectiveness of the measure, and you want to verify the fuel savings, right? Because you also want to know, okay, what did this bring at the end in fuel savings in metric tons in US dollars? And when is the return on investment point achieved, right? So you need data for that, what S Insight serves. Thinking about refit of propulsion systems to hybrid systems, for example, or what else can I think of, up the installation of exhaust gas cleaning systems. So we should consider that shipping is quite conservative, right? And everything is new. So first and foremost, this has to be integrated in reporting systems. Then there needs to be crew training, and we also need data and experience to gain knowledge and to derive best practice. And this is how S Insight can help of. And thus, S Insight is a powerful application to improve fuel performance. And if you improve fuel performance, you automatically reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And what I also find very important, what I want to manage here, is not just fuel performance, it's also important to ensure operational safety and reliability of service. So these three always come together, right?
Madeleine, as I think you might agree, procuring the solution is one step. Getting the people who are tasked to use it is yet another step. What is the process to ensure that all involved are adequately trained to maximize the benefits of the software that you offer?
Yeah, it's a very good and very crucial question, because training is a crucial point, because only awareness, capability, and commitment from people on shore and also on board are key levers to realize fuel savings. So from my experience as an energy manager and also internal auditor for a shipping company I used to work for, I know that only qualified and well-trained people are able to respond to the full scope of technical and nautical problems and are able to explain their decisions to the charterer. Just from my own experience, you have to establish a common understanding about the targets and achievements. So you have to share, why are we doing this? Then you have to provide open and constructive feedback. You have to provide regular follow-ups, especially also where the crews are constantly changing, right? So the entire crew is not always the same. You have to circulate feedback loops. You can do this through alerts, to weekly or monthly reports, through scorecards, everything which we offer in SInsight, to discuss deviations, to review progress and achievements, to benchmark with other vessels. This is also quite motivating, right? So if you comparing different vessels within the same group or department, this also drives motivation. And yeah, it's SInsight is basically a trigger for communication and discussion and active participation, because the same source of information is used. So the crew, I mean, only people, doesn't matter if this is on board or here, only people who have the feeling that their work makes sense, and only people that feel being taken seriously, continuously supported, and which can see that their work creates valuable output for the company. Only those are open-minded and act as multiplier by sharing and promoting knowledge. And this is what we do. So we provide the tools, right, to discuss and understand impact of measures and help reflecting how shore management processes the data, right, which have been reported from board, and what information and action can be derived from it. So it's a sharing and caring principle, basically.
I find it interesting that you come from the ship owning side, because I think you'll have some really good insight on this next question, which, as you know, the technical side is one thing, the cultural side of the maritime business is quite another thing. Traditionally, seafarers, the people on the ships, don't prefer to be told what to do from shoreside personnel. Do you see this changing, or do you see it like that? And do you see this changing?
Yeah, I see it changing, but first, like maybe turn instruction into guidance, because as I said, interaction, it's a key. It's a give and take always. I mean, it's difficult, indeed. I mean, I told you I was a seafarer, so I knew what the people are facing on board. Then I was working as an energy manager and also did internal audit. And believe it or not, it took me 2 years to anchor this culture. And as I said, field performance is a competitive advantage in the market, but it's not all about improving operational performance. This is not the only challenge, because just put yourself into the shoes of a seafarer. So right now we have to improve operational performance, but if you are berthing or you're calling a port, right, there are lots of reports requested, statutory certificates and documents which have to be provided to agents who come on board, to port state, to auditors. Plus, what makes it even more challenging is that it's globally not the same. So you have different schemes and you have different, let's say, limits or like emission thresholds locally, or like incentive schemes. And I mean, the crew needs guidance and support from the shore side to be sufficiently prepared, and not just to support the SMP or an internal energy management system. And you have to make sure that it's not something the company came up with, because it not just creates burden on the ship side, it also creates burden on the shore side, right? To get familiar with it, to set it up where we help our clients now, because we know the guidance, which is time saving, and they know they are compliant. But at the end, it's a lot of work, and it's not something, you know, shipping companies support, and that's why they come up with it. That's why it's very important to establish a culture determined by teamwork and cooperation, because you always depend on each other. And it's also very important to give the crew the feeling, because they are at site on the vessel, and they are only able to judge and investigate a situation best. You can have good systems ashore, but you'll never be able to, let's say, monitor everything what's going on to like 100%. That's not possible. That's why if you are not patronizing or finger pointing or saying, oh, the crew is just stealing fuel and is not reporting carefully, this is wrong, right? And this is also no interaction. You always need interaction to reach one another and again to build trust. And that's why, we have like the reports and scorecards where we are open and traceable. And we also have a scorecard in SInsight where we really treat ship and shore the impact of their performance equally. And this is what we also reflect to the shore side, that we say, hey, there are always two parts which interacts. And I have a recommendation also to owners from my own perspective. How can you do this? How can you also establish a culture of change? Take the time when the crew is off, and do user seminars on shore, because this helps you to explain targets, to share achievements, and also to show appreciation for the work done.
In conclusion, can you give us a succinct summation of how fleet decision support software can assist an owner on its path to decarbonization?
Very succinct summation would be that SInsight provides the framework to set the scope to identify and establish best practices related to efficient ship operation and maintenance, but also helps you to facilitate, to understand the impact of measures. So it helps owners to manage ship performance, environmental compliance, and to drive continuous improvement. By using SInsight, you can integrate it into existing energy management system, or we can also help you to set up an energy management system to support companies in defining procedures to achieve targeted energy objectives. And thus, fuel performance can be easily anchored and maintained in the company's management systems and also in the competence training culture.